Ukrainian FPV drones hitting Russian soldiers. Traps set for Russian vehicles. Kamikaze drones targeting Russian vehicles. Russian armored vehicles exploded in airstrikes. Urban conflicts and operations. Stay tuned for more. June 3rd, 2025. Ukrainian Special Operations Center, FPV drone operators, launched simultaneous attacks on vehicles carrying Russian soldiers and infantry. Throughout the entire offensive, launched by Ukrainian forces, many Russian armored vehicles were destroyed. Although Russian soldiers try to get rid of FPV drones, none of them can do it. A large number of Russian soldiers' all-terrain vehicles, ATVs, are one of the vehicles most destroyed in these attacks. Most soldiers try to hit the drone, but they can't. Now, the new method used to hit the drones is to use pump rifles. Drones can be hit more easily with buckshot. You can support us by liking and commenting on the video. 30 drones took part in the operation. More than 20 Russian soldiers lost their lives, and more than 10 armored vehicles and military vehicles were destroyed. FPV droner caught the Russian soldier fought unnecessarily, but managed to survive. Fighters of the 66th Separate Mechanized Brigade detected a Russian soldier carrying a TM-62 anti-tank mine for further detonation, using a Ukrainian FPV kamikaze drone. The mine hit caused a powerful explosion. June 3rd, 2025. A Ukrainian FPV drone destroys a Russian FPV that landed on the road while lying in wait for a target. June 1st, 2025, Ukraine 38, DRONS, affiliated to the Naval Brigade, identified two S-1 Gvozdika howitzer to Russian forces. Ukrainian forces neutralized the Howlet in an attack with unmanned aerial vehicles. Almost in the same place with the thermal camera, Russian MTLB, armored personnel carrier, was also left air bombs. While Russian soldiers are traveling in a vehicle, a Ukrainian UAV follows them. Russian soldiers try to shoot down the drone, but fail. Ukrainian drone hits Russian soldier's vehicle. Near the village of Paraskovivka, Donetsk region, a Russian convoy crosses the Ukrainian defensive lines and launches an attack with a tank and armored vehicle. An unexpected attack awaited the Russian tanks returning after attacking the Ukrainian trenches. Ukrainian artillery immediately intervened against the Russian assault unit that started to return. Ukrainian artillery launched a counterattack and began firing at the crossing routes. With the first attack, the armored infantry carrier at the back is damaged and cannot move. Russian soldiers get out of the vehicle in panic. The tank leaves the soldiers behind in all these attacks and leaves. Russian infantry descending from the vehicle before they have the opportunity to escape the part of the ball bullet. All Russian troops lose their lives there. It is seen that they cause heavy losses. June 2nd, 2025. Ukrainian forces ambush Russian military logistic routes in the Kherson region. They launch attacks on Russian vehicles advancing along all logistic lines. Again, a vehicle is targeted. The Russian military drone in the vehicle notice, and they are starting to escape fast. They were planning to pull the car somewhere and enter the house quickly, but they were late. Russian troops who see the unmanned aerial vehicle are trying to get out of the vehicles and hide in forest areas. Priority for Ukrainian forces is always to destroy vehicles. After destroying vehicles, they also attack the infantry. The destroyed vehicles constantly carry ammunition and soldiers to the region. Especially the vehicles carrying ammunition are followed, and the warehouse areas they reach are identified. In this way, the attack on ammunition warehouses begins. The most important thing that draws attention during all the attacks is that the vehicles used by Russian soldiers are civilian vehicles. This tactical is applied to avoid the attention of Russian forces. But since civilians living in the region leave the region, this tactic has no advantage. Ukrainian forces destroy all vehicles moving in the region. A Russian military clothes are trying to hide by closing. But a Ukraine is noticed by a suicide plane. This Russian soldier noticed the coming drone, but now it's too late. The main objective of the drone attacks by Ukraine 3rd Brigade in the Kursk region was Russian pies. Numerous Russian troops lost their lives in these weeks. Not only drones, but also trenches were attacking. Russian troops lost their lives before they could do anything against the drones. In many FPV drone attacks, Russian troops seem to freeze or remain still as a drone approaches. This behavior is not caused by confusion or hesitation, usually a deliberate survival tactic. When Ukrainian FPV drones are detected, it is easier to monitor and hit moving targets. Soldiers can stop completely with the hope that the drone operator will ignore them or choose a more visible or active target. In some cases, they are trying to camouflage themselves or hide their heat signatures. Additionally, soldiers in trenches or near impact zones may be under strict orders to stay low and minimize movement to avoid drawing attention. Despite these efforts, FPV drones are highly maneuverable and equipped with real-time video feeds, allowing operators to select and strike targets with deadly accuracy. In the Kherson region, 2 Russian vehicles crashed with each other. The accident was watched by FPV drones. A drone is helping a soldier locate his Mavic, which failed to reach its landing point. All of this is happening over a strikingly green field, deformed and wounded by war. June 3rd, 2025. At the end of a few months of operation, Ukrainian Security Service, SBU, managed to hit the Crimean Bridge. The bridge's carrier columns suffered serious damage. In the Ukraine Zaporizhzhia region, 4 Russian soldiers were about to enter an abandoned house for a shelter, but they didn't know they were watched. Ukrainian forces launched a mortar attack on Russian troops. The house they tried to enter with the attack at which Ukrainian forces started was destroyed. The soldiers who experienced their first losses in the house tried to hide elsewhere, but all his movements were watched. Everywhere they went was bombed. There was no Russian soldier who could survive. June 3rd, 2025. SBU Special Forces from the Ukrainian White Wolf drone unit launched an attack on underground shelters belonging to Russian forces. Ukrainian forces, which collected intelligence for 1 month, destroyed numerous Russian positions during the 11-hour operation. The estimated number of Russian soldiers who lost their lives is 15 and is more than 40 injured. Not only trenches, but also a large number of mortar balls in the positions are destroyed. Unless there are electronic warfare vehicles against drones, Russian military positions are always vulnerable. One of the biggest attacks on this week. Since June 1st, 2025, Russian forces have launched a series of intensified operations along multiple sectors of the front line. These offensives have included coordinated artillery barrages, infantry advances, and armored vehicle assaults, particularly targeting Ukrainian defensive positions in the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Drone reconnaissance footage reveals Russian troops attempting to break through fortified zones using combined arms tactics, supported by cord-heavy machine guns, mortar teams, and electronic warfare systems to disrupt Ukrainian communications. Despite these efforts, Ukrainian forces have mounted a strong defense, utilizing FPV drones, precision strikes, and well-organized counterattacks to repel the advances. Several clashes resulted in heavy losses on both sides, while some abandoned equipment and destroyed vehicles remain scattered across the battlefield. Silent evidence of the brutal and ongoing fight for control. The fighting shows no sign of slowing down, and each new offensive highlights just how volatile and unpredictable the front lines have become. As Russia pushes forward, Ukraine adapts, turning every attack into a new test of strategy, resilience, and survival.